Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. So coming to you early in the morning. It's about 6:15. And we have identified a problem with this setup, right? Had a couple of issues so far, just kind of getting this system up and running on this Savage 110 Trail Hunter. But when I was at the range, shooting the premium factory ammunition, just kind of testing that stuff out, seeing how it would shoot, I noticed that the scope, the Leupold had started to shift forward in the scope rings. These are worn vapor rings, and they're just, you can see they're just the 2-screw style on each ring, and these were torqued down properly, so they obviously came loose. The scope was sliding. I didn't even really notice it until I'd already shot the full box of Hornady Precision Hunter. So it's a little frustrating, but today we are gonna remedy that by simply swapping out the rings. We're gonna go with these worn Maxima horizontal rings. These have 4 screws per ring. So yeah, we're just gonna swap them out and be done, right? Probably could use some thread locker, tighten these down. Yeah, possibly would work, but I think we've already shown that that could just be another potential issue down the line. So yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna swap out the rings altogether. So I'm gonna get the scope out of here, get these other rings installed, and then from there, I'll get the scope leveled up. So let me get this done. Let me get this, get these new rings on here, get this scope leveled up, and then let's go hit the range to shoot the remainder of the factory ammunition. If you recall, if you watched the last video, I've got 15 rounds of the Norma Tip Bond Strike, the 180 grain stuff. I've got 15 rounds of it left. And then I've got 15 rounds of the Hornady Outfitter 180 grain CX. So let's get this swapped over. We'll see you at the range. All right, so back from the range, we can finally go over all of the premium factory ammo results, go over the groups, go over the velocity numbers, and all of that fun stuff, whatever. So earlier on in the video, I showed you how we swapped this out, put on these worn Maxima rings, and they seem to work really well. I used these Fix-It sticks, and I just kept those with me at the bench today when I was at the range, and I was constantly checking torque and making sure everything was, nothing was coming loose, everything was torqued down properly, and I had 0 issues with it. From the time I actually torqued these down and then went to the range and shot, I had no issues with anything coming loose. So I think we've solved the problem, right, that we experienced, which I would imagine we experienced that problem while we were actually shooting this stuff, this Federal 180 grain Power Shock. The groups might have, that 5-shot group there at the end, it possibly could have been even better, right? I think it was around like 1.4 inches or whatever it was. I would imagine that scope was coming loose. Those rings were coming loose while we were shooting this stuff as well. So, I don't think the Federal and the Precision Hunter, these two definitely didn't get a fair shake on the accuracy side of the house. But we'll just kind of walk through it. I'm not going to show you the Federal stuff. You guys have already seen that. You've seen the Precision Hunter as well, but we'll just kind of go over this one, since that's the point of these videos, is the premium ammo. So remember, this was the first group, first 5-shot group, and then the second, after I made a scope adjustment, third, pretty ugly, and then the fourth tightened up. And remember, I didn't realize that the scope had been creeping forward until I finished shooting all 20 rounds of this Precision Hunter. So again, it kind of got left out of the, it falls into that what if category, right? Like this, and I even said in the video, this is probably more indicative of what that ammo could actually do in this rifle. But, we'll never know, because I'm not going to go buy another box. Velocity numbers on all 20 shots. Average was 2701, SD 14, extreme spread 49. So nothing really to write home about there. Now, here you go. So they're saying 2750. We were 49 feet per second below that. Not too bad for factory ammunition. And yeah, so there you go. Not too bad. Yeah, it definitely could have shot better, I feel like. So moving on, I did shoot one 5-shot group. During that range session, I did tighten everything down. Once I realized the scope had come loose, the rings had come loose, went ahead, torqued everything down properly, and ended up shooting a 5-shot group of the Norma Tip Bond Strike and the Hornady 180 grain CX, the outfitter stuff. And this Bond Strike, this is 180 grain as well. So this is the 180 grain Bond Strike, right? It's the first 5-shot group. And then this is the first 5-shot group with the CX stuff. So again, nothing really to get thrilled about in terms of the accuracy of these two. Switching over to a different target because I came back. This is all prior to me making the switch to these rings. So came back, fixed the problem, swapped those rings, and then went back out and shot this target. So, and again, shout out to Midway Pistol and Ammo out in Gurley, Alabama. Huge shout out to Mark. Really appreciate the targets. I was in there the other day. He's like, hey, here's a pack of targets. Just want to kind of help you out, support the channel, you know, especially with the series you got going on with 30-06. So really appreciate it. Shout out to him for that. Where are we at? So I started off shooting the CX. So this is the second 5-shot group from the CX. So not too bad there. This is the third 5-shot group and the fourth. So nothing really, I mean, to get super excited about. Possibly that group, but again, nothing really, just you know, blowing my hair back, which I don't have any hair, so whatever. But I think the best group out of all these ended up measuring like 1.4 inches on the CX stuff. So pretty much what we measured on that Federal 180 grain. I think that group came out to like 1.4 inches. So yeah, so that was the best out of the CX. Now the velocity numbers right here, 2661, SD 20, extreme spread 64. Let's see, what do we say on the box here? Muzzle 2700. So again, we're just a little bit below that. We're only 39 feet per second below what they're saying we should get on the box. So not too bad in terms of velocity, at least coming close to the box. SD of 20, you could definitely do better than that. If you'll recall, the Federal was, I believe it was 14 or 15. Hornady Precision stuff was 14. So jumping up here to 20 with the outfitter stuff, yeah, definitely could be better. Now moving over to the this stuff, the Norma Tip Bond Strike 180 grain. This was the second 5-shot group that I shot with the Norma. This was the third. I was getting really excited about this one. Not sure what happened there. I will say that I shot this group. Okay, I made a scope adjustment to the right. All right, I came over a couple of clicks. Right, came over a couple of clicks. The very first shot out of this group was this shot. Not sure what that was all about, but shot that one, and then the next 4 are stacking in there pretty nice. So yeah, not sure what that was about, because then on the very next group, we do this. We have 4 down here, which obviously are nowhere near how nice this one was over here, but we have 4, and then we have 1 off to the right again. So not exactly sure what was going on there with the Norma Tip Bond Strike. Again, I was checking torque along the way, virtually after every shot. So not exactly sure. Here's the velocity numbers on that stuff, 2670, SD 23, extreme spread 74. So there you go. That'll wrap up the premium factory ammunition edition. Now we're gonna roll into some hand loading, which I'm really looking forward to. So you guys stay tuned, keep following along with this. We're gonna kill a deer with this thing this season. I just feel it. So we'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a good one.